here is our cow eye. So on the outside here, the white layer is going to be the sclera, so it's our outer part there. Sometimes we're lucky and we can kind of see the, I don't know, sometimes I can get parts of it up, like the, there's a little thin layer, like a membrane there that would be the conjunctiva. I think it's easiest on the diagram because you can see it basically lines inside of your eyelids, goes over the surface of the sclera, covers over the cornea, and then goes up and wraps on the inside of the eyelid, but that conjunctiva would cover over all of this. Sometimes you can get it loose and other times it's not so easy. This right here is the cornea. Here, this one we've kind of opened up so you can kind of see how thick that is, but when you open this up in here, we're able to see kind of the colored part of the eye. No, it's pretty hard to get in there. The colored part of the eye is going to be the iris in there. It's tough to get in there. The colored part, the brown, is the iris there, and the hole is going to be the pupil, and we'll kind of see that from the other side. So if we open this up, get this little piece out. Maybe not. So the hole that we're seeing here, that's the pupil. You can see that cornea right there, that kind of opaque layer there. And then, like I said, inside of this, like what we're seeing here, that would be where that iris, that colored part of the eye is. Because when you look at somebody, their cornea is going to be clear, and so you would see this colored part, that deeper part there. You would see what color eyes, if you have blue eyes, brown eyes, green eyes, the color that was there. You can see where all these like kind of lines are, where it kind of looks textured there. That's going to be that ciliary body. That's going to be where those ciliary muscles are, because remember, you're going to have those will contract, and that's going to basically pull on the lens. So if we kind of pull this up a little bit, I don't know how easy it's going to see. So in here, this kind of, there's that anterior chamber. Can you see how there's a space? Kind of like if you go through the hole that's the pupil, you end up in like a chamber in there. So there's going to be a space in there. That's going to be filled with the aqueous humor. That's going to be that anterior chamber. I need another hand. If I do this, like if I pull that kind of up, can you kind of see how there's like a space in there? So that's going to be that anterior chamber, and that would be filled with the aqueous humor in there. So that's kind of in there. The lens would sit kind of right in front of that, and that kind of, the lens is going to separate that anterior chamber from the posterior chamber. So this right here and everything, you know, back in here, that's the posterior chamber. It's everything behind the lens. So the posterior chamber is filled with the vitreous humor, vitreous body. So it's like a gelatinous substance. So you can kind of see some of it right here attached to the lens. This is going to be that vitreous humor, vitreous body there. This really hard, almost marble-like structure right here. That's going to be the lens. It's right here. And the lens would stay attached to that ciliary body through suspensory ligaments. It's really hard to see them on here, so I opt not to really test my, I know it's in the lab book, but I think it's easier to put on paper versus in here you'd have little suspensory fibers that would attach to the lens that would then attach to that ciliary body there, but they're hard to see. So if we move back here, this kind of like, I know this looks really kind of clumpy, this kind of really like very thin, delicate tissue. It kind of like when you dissect the eye often, it kind of wants to clump together. That is going to be the retina. It really covers over the whole surface there, but when you cut open the eye, a lot of times it pulls away from the rest of the eye, and it, like I said, it's very delicate. It just kind of wants to bunch up and fall in on itself. That's where you would find the rod cells, the cone cells, bipolar cells, ganglion cells, all those cells that make up the retina. But it's a thin, like I said, it's pretty delicate, and it attaches here. You can kind of see where that blind spot would be, because you can see here it's attached to the back surface of the eye. That is where all the nervous tissue, blood vessels come in, so that where it's attaching is going to be the blind spot. If you flip this over and kind of follow that, you can see that it would be attached to that optic nerve, because all those nerves, you know, the neurons that are coming in right here at that blind spot come out and make that optic nerve that ultimately goes to the brain. So that's going to be the optic nerve. here you can see the outer layer. Do you see the white layer right here? That's going to be the sclera. Then you're going to have the choroid layer, but it's going to pull this back a little bit. Do you see how there's like black, that black layer in between? So you have the choroid is white, or not choroid, the sclera is white, and the choroid is the black layer there. And then on the inside here, that really pearlescent, kind of blue, iridescent, however you want to kind of think of it, that's going to be the tapetum lucidum. And that is found in animals, but not in humans. So like dogs, cats, that cow, obviously, different animals that have good night vision will have this tapetum lucidum layer that we don't have as humans. So you'd see choroid is white, sclera is white, choroid is the black that's in here, and then the tapetum lucidum is that iridescent kind of blue layer. And then covering over all of that, we would find the retina. Like I said, the retina here, it kind of like pulls away and kind of clumps together when you look at that. And on the back here, so a lot of times you can see those extrinsic eye muscles back here. I won't ask which one is which because it's really hard to tell on the eye when it's detached and you're just seeing little kind of stubs from what's left of the muscles there. And that optic nerve here.